and welcome to Amethyst Star Crafting. My name is Jane Ormark and I'm a UK independent Stampin' Up demonstrator. And today we're looking at another one of the new sets, which is Walk in the Woods. I absolutely love this. I love toadstools, I love the little oak leaves, sweet little hedgehog, and some beautiful sentiments, wishing you every kind of wonderful. Everything will be okay. The adventure begins. The world needs more of what you are. Thanks for being marvellous, and I'm lost without you. Lovely fonts, just beautiful. So I thought we would do a card with this. Now I have done some of it because there's quite a lot of colouring involved, but I thought I would show you a little bit of it so that you get an idea of how I did it. So we're going to take the sweet little hedgehog and I'm going to put him on. Let's just get him out. There we go. I'm going to put him on a block. Now, what size block will he go on? He'll go on this little block here. Okay, so we're going to put him on a block and I'm going to stamp him with Early Espresso. I want him in a brown rather than a black because then that's not going to be too over the top. Now, depending what you're colouring him with, if you want to colour him with watercolour pencils, watercolour markers, then you would want to use something like Stays On or a good black ink. However, I just want him sort of a little brown, but look at the little detail on him. He is just absolutely gorgeous. So I love this little guy. We are then going to, let me just clean that off quickly and put it back in the case. I've also stamped again in the same colour a couple of leaves, and I thought I would just show you the difference on those. So you can colour these in with our watercolour pencils and use them just as pencils. And this one we can colour in with the blends. So I'm going to do one of the leaves in the blends, and I'm using, what am I going to use? I'm going to use the light granny apple green, and I'm going to use the light old olive. I quite like mixing and matching between them. So let me just get the... Oh, that's not going to go on that one, is it? I've got another one. Let's see if I can do it on this one. Sometimes the insides come out of them. My hands aren't particularly strong, and I do struggle with them. We'll have to use the other end. Okay, so very quickly on this one, all you're going to do is to just colour through, and because the blends are alcohol and the ink is water-based, it's not going to bleed through. So literally just colour around. I always go around the edges first of all because it's easier to do, and then just colour it straight through. There we go, that's the light. And then I'm going to use the light in the granny apple green, and let's see if I can get the, there we go. And I'm going to have this, I'm just going to colour the bottom part of this right the way through. Just up to the top. And then where the leaf part is here, I'm just going to go through and just take that up just on the veins. So you then have that sort of variegated look to it. So fairly simple, and then all you need to do is to cut that one out. So that's how we do the little leaf. Now this little guy, I'm using the watercolour pencils, and I'm using Early Espresso, crushed curry and Cajun craze. Have we got any other browns in there? No, I think that's probably going to be it on those. So those three. And I'm going to do with the Cajun craze, I'm just going to do, and again I use the side of my pencil and I'm just doing in round where his eye is round here, and then doing round the other side. And again, it's a matter of building it up. I'm only just sort of showing you part of this, so it just gives you an idea of building up the colours. I'm not going to do the whole thing because it will take a while, and you build up your colours as you go. And then down here on his body as well, you can go through lovely little fat body and down on his little legs. And just as I say, build it up. I'm doing it just the first layer. You will do a few layers with this, as we did with the other one, but literally just building it up. And then I'm going to take the Cajun craze, and we can do down on his little bridge of his nose and up on here. Some of these little whiskery pieces coming out on here, up on that bit, down just a little bit on the side where his bristles would go, down on his little legs, and then just quite quickly, now I'm going up the way his spines would go, so I'm going up in this sort of direction, following where his bristles would naturally go. So just taking it over in that direction. It makes it then look a little bit more realistic. I'm leaving his ear out because I'm going to do the ear a bit darker. So as I say, just bringing it round. And as I say, it will take you a little while. I'm only doing just the sort of the first bit of this, and then I'm taking the early espresso, and we can have the inside of his ear because it's a bit darker, and then just taking up and starting to build it over the top. So you literally just work through, building up as you go. Taking through where the darker pieces of the spine and things, spiny bits are going. And as I say, just keep working your way through with it and building it up. So if I take just this little tiny piece here, so I would do this darker, I would then go back in and use some of the Cajun craze to lighten it up a bit. I would then go back in and build up some more of the tones on there. And you can see you just keep working and working and working at it until you've got the definition that you want. So I will carry on with that one, but that just gives you the colours and the ideas that you can work with. So I've done exactly the same thing with, I've stamped out the toadstools. And this time I use the blend. So I'm going to take all of the sort of the pieces that I've got. That's the hedgehog completed. So you can see once you sort of added more colours and more tones in, you can get it vibrant. Now I've used the toadstool part, and what I did on this was I just masked off all of the toadstools so I could just get the greenery round the side, and then just built that up with different coloured greens. And I'm going to move this one out of the way. And then with the leaves, I've just cut those out. So I've done 3 leaves because I thought that that would be quite good. Here's our little toadstool, and again I've cut it out. Now what I did was, to get to the inside piece, I just cut it through on here, so you can then cut that middle piece out, because once it's actually down with dimensionals it won't matter. And then on this one I took these were done with blends. I took the ivory and I started with smoky slate underneath and then put the ivory over the top, and I just used our chalk marker to give the toadstools a few little spots. So we've got that piece in on there. So we've got 3 of the leaves, we've got the toadstool. I've done this, I stamped him on the largest stitched framed circle, so it gave it that image. So we've got these 3 pieces here. Now I've chosen the lovely new cinnamon cider and the wood grain, because I thought the wood grain would look absolutely perfect with this. So I've done that piece. Now what I'm going to do is, because I don't like wasting these bits, I would normally cut something out. I'm not going to do it on this one because I want to put the whole card together so we can see. So we're going to put the wood grain on the back. I love this cinnamon cider. It's a really nice cinnamon colour, but the wood grain just gives those lovely earthy tones that will just work perfectly with something like this. So we're going to put this one down here in on the centre like this. There we go. And then I'm going to take the little hedgehog and he's going to go in on the centre like that. I'm going to have my toadstools down on the bottom, and then I'm going to build up the leaves. Now I've done a sentiment using wishing you every kind of wonderful, because I thought that that would work beautifully. So I need to balance that out and put, that's going to go right at the top like that. So just with a little bit of border on there, and then this one can go in. So let's get some dimensionals out and we can start building this up. So we'll have our large and our minis, because we never know which ones we're going to use. Whoops, got all sorts of bits and pieces in my box at the moment. Okay, so let's have a look at this. We want to put some dimensionals. Are we going to have dimensionals on every single one? Yes, I think so. Okay, so we'll have dimensionals on here. This is going to have the large ones on. Oops. Down on there and one down on there. And then we're going to have dimensionals on this as well, because this one's going to have lots of height and things in. So we'll have 1, 2, 3 in the middle. I love nature stamps, and I think that these the oak leaves are absolutely lovely. They'd work beautifully in autumn colours as well. So let's put this up on here so we then know where we want it. So we want just a little bit of space in on here, and then that can go up on there. Okay, so that's the first piece. Then we're going to have this one, and we want him in just in the center like that. Okay, so we can put him down there. Then I'm going to put the toadstools in on the bottom. So I just want dimensionals on the bottom of this, because these pieces are just going to be glued in. So I'm going to put 1 dimensional there, and then okay, we want just a little bit of glue on here. So let me get my wet glue out. And put that in on the top of these. Maybe a little bit on there. I'm not sure whether that's going to touch or not. So we can then put him, we want this piece to come down near the bottom. We'll have it just to the side as much as we can, so that gives that height, that gives that, and then that can stick down on here. So you've got that piece of height and you've got the little toadstools coming through. Then we've got the 3 leaves, and I thought that they would work quite nicely just round the side. So again, we need to be careful with the dimensionals. These I'm going to use the minis with. So we'll have a dimensional down on the bottom of this one, just there, to just give that little bit of height. And then we need to put the glue up on there. And then this one, yes, that'll be able to tuck in underneath. So we'll take that off. And just bob some glue in on here. Just a little bit on the top. And then I'm going to tuck this one just in underneath there. And put it down so that it comes just off the edge. Then we're going to do exactly the same thing with the next one. So a little bit of dimensional on the bottom. And then just a little bit of glue in on the top. Take that bit of dimensional off, and then that one can tuck in just around there. We'll have that so that it comes in on the side there. And then the last little one, we want the dimensional on that piece. So we'll just put the dimensional down in on here. So this is a lovely layered card with that lovely little hedgehog sort of stuck at the back, which I think looks really pretty. And my daughter-in-law has a hedgehog in her garden at the moment, which is absolutely lovely. So the grandchildren go out there in the evening to find or to see the little hedgehog, and they're just such sweet little creatures, they really are. Okay, so all we need now is a card base, which I've got here, so we can then put this onto the card base. So yes, so her birthday's coming up next month, so I thought that I would make her a card with the hedgehog on, and then I can put a happy birthday thing on it and do some other bits, but I thought that that would work perfectly. So that can go in on the centre, and the white obviously picks up the white that we've put in on. The white picks up the white that we've got in on here. So I think a lovely card. I really love this set, and if you're somebody who enjoys colouring, it's a perfect one. It's a great one to practice colouring as well, because obviously, you know, little hedgehogs are great to colour, and the toadstools as well. So it's Walk in the Woods, and I absolutely love it. So thank you so much for watching me. As always, stay safe and stay well and be kind. Bye-bye.